This is our fourth DK question and answer. What questions are we going to go over today?
Well, our good buddy Don Marsh asked, what are the pros and cons of installing ape hangers on a trike? What effect does the height of the bars have? Alan came to us with a question that we get a lot. I've had a twin cam Dyna Wide Glide for 6 years, and I'm thinking of getting an M8 Softail. I'm not sure which model yet. The question is the M8 engine all that much better than a twin cam? Phil asked, if I use one of your Outlaw high flow air cleaners on my 19 Street Bob, which is an M8, do I need a tuner? And we only have 4 questions today. And the final one comes from Lambert asking, this is for Kevin. It's been over a year that you've had your toy hauler. How has it been working out?
So now we're going to do the little intro thing.
Yeah, been intro. So let's get to Don's question. What are the pros and cons of installing ape hangers on a trike? What effect does the height of the bars have?
Well, Don, I have ape hangers on my trike, but the very first thing when you look at handlebars is to go look at the comfort triangle, and the link to that is down below in the description, the comfort triangle. The most important thing about handlebars is to get the relationship between your feet, your butt, and your hands in the most comfortable position. And so really the seat is really first, to get a seat that you're comfortable with, and then get your feet where they're comfortable, and then in the comfort triangle link that is below, it tells you how to get your hands where it is, and sometimes it'll be ape hangers and sometimes it won't. Now if it does, if you do come down to that you're going to want ape hangers, or if you don't care about comfort and you just want ape hangers for the style of it, you don't care if your shoulders hurt after an 8-hour ride or something. If you want ape hangers, there's a few things to take into consideration. Number one, on a tri-glide with ape hangers, your hands are not going to be behind the bat wing. So if you ride when it's cold, have good gloves or be ready for the cold, because your hands are out in the wind. They're also out in the rain, so you don't have the protection of the bat wing fairing with the ape hangers. The other thing is, and this can get sort of expensive, if your ape hangers are very tall, if they're not like mini apes, then you're looking at extra wiring extensions, cable extensions, and hydraulic line. Hydraulic for your clutch, hydraulic for your front brakes, throttle by wire extension. Everything has to get extended, and that can run into some serious money. One of the benefits, and the reason that I have ape hangers, but my ape hangers aren't that high, they're high enough that my hands are not behind the bat wing. But usually when you get ape hangers, because the way the handlebars go, they go from narrow, wider, and the longer they are, then the wider they get. Okay, so ape hangers are usually wider than the factory bars. And on a trike, tri-glide or freewheeler, the wider your handlebars, the more leverage you have for steering. Doesn't matter on a two-wheel bike because you lean to steer, but on a trike you move the handlebars to steer. And so the wider it is, the more leverage you have. The more leverage you have, the easier it ends up being steering. So hope that answered your question, Don. So the next question we have, this one is for Dwayne. Alan asked, I've had a twin cam Dyna Wide Glide for 6 years and I'm thinking of getting the M8 Softail. Not sure which model yet. The question is the M8 engine all that much better than a twin cam? And Dwayne had a twin cam. We recently upgraded to a deluxe with an M8. So what are your thoughts?
Well, it's subjective because the twin cam I had was pretty old. It was a 2001, so it was carbureted, and it had like cold start issues. So coming from carbureted to fuel injected, there's a lot of conveniences in a newer design, and so it's just subjective. Personally, I like it more because I can go out there, I push the button, and it starts every time. stock for stock, I mean, I guess, apples to apples comparison, there are visual differences, yeah. There are also things such as the M8s not being as lean from the factory as the twin cams were. So stock for stock, M8s are better, but it's just one of those questions. It depends on who you ask. But I mean, as far as the model lineup, I mean, of course, there's not Dynas anymore, but you can still get the Deluxe. You can still get the Heritage. You can still get a Slim with the M8 engine. So as far as trim packages go, there's really no difference. But if you're a Dyna lover, you're gonna fall into the twin cam every time, just by default. So in my opinion, yes, it is better, and there's only going to be more and more Milwaukee 8s, more and more aftermarket support, less and less for the twin cam. So if you're looking for a new bike or close to new bike, my opinion, your best bet is a Milwaukee 8. Now, after doing modifications of basic stage 1 to the M8, it's a significant improvement over a basic stage 1 on a twin cam.
So hopefully that answered your question, Alan. Phil, another question for Dwayne. Phil asks, if I use one of your Outlaw high flow air cleaners on my 2019 Street Bob, which is an M8, do I need a tuner?
Well, the short answer is no, but the technical answer can be a little complicated and a little confusing, because on the prior big twin model, the twin cam, it was needed. Even on a stock bike, no air cleaner, no exhaust modifications, it needed a tune. Like, it just needed it. It was too lean from the factory, it was too hot from the factory, and it robbed performance. The M8 isn't that way. And I'll pull up a dyno chart here to show you why. Alright, so if you take a look at this blue line at the bottom of the chart, you'll see that it floats between 12 and 13. Now that's an ideal AFR, and this is a bone stock Milwaukee 8 motorcycle.
Right, and that's at wide open throttle, because cruising you want it to be around 14.3 is ideal.
Right.
When you go wide open throttle, between 12 and 13, and that's right where it's sitting. I mean, Harley did a great job.
As you can see in this chart, we've added the Outlaw 587 air cleaner system, which is a high flow air cleaner K&N filter element, very indicative of most stage 1 air cleaners. And you can see the AFR is still ideal.
I mean, it didn't even get close to 13.
Right, it didn't even get close to 13, so it's still in the ideal range.
And by the way, the plug in these mufflers were punched out, so it's a stock mufflers, but the plug that really makes the most restriction, it was punched out on this. So this is really a high flow air cleaner and exhaust, and the tune is dead on.
And here are the charts that most of you probably care about the most, the performance benefit. As you can see here, just adding an air cleaner, no fuel management device, no adjustment to the tune, you'll get a 10% increase in horsepower and over a 7% increase in torque. And again, that's no tuner. Adding a tuner, we'll pull it up here, you get an 11% increase in horsepower and a little over 9% increase in torque. So you're splitting hairs there. We're not saying don't buy a tune by any means, because there is room for improvement with a tuner, but it's not necessary. If you want to upgrade your air cleaner for many reasons, aesthetic purposes, a lot of air cleaners such as the 587 give you more leg clearance. You can bolt on an external breather system. So there are a lot of benefits to adding a stage 1 air cleaner. And previously with a twin cam, when you wanted to pull the trigger on an air cleaner, you had to pair it with a tuner. You just had to. And that's not the case with the M8.
Yeah, and even on the twin cam, even if you weren't adding an air cleaner, you should get a tuner, because it was just too lean.
Exactly.
So for Phil, the bottom line is, if he adds an air cleaner, he's going to get a good bump in power. If he adds an air cleaner and a tune, he's going to get an even better bump in power.
Correct.
But it is not necessary to add the tuner.
Exactly. Now this is one I've been wondering myself, from Lambert. This is for Kevin. It's been over a year that you've had your toy hauler. How's it been working out?
It's been working out great. I'm going to be doing an entire video, sort of our first year using the toy hauler, and it's really been about a little over a year that we've been using it. It's been working out great. We've got to travel a lot more. We've got to see a lot more. We've done a lot more good riding. We've saved money on motels. We save money on food. We get to sleep in our own bed. It just has worked out really well. One of the big things is I ride to work and back every day that I can, where it's not cold like today.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to ride in 28 degrees this morning.
I didn't either.
So besides riding back and forth to work, when we go on big trips, we'd sometimes ride 2,000 miles just to get to the good riding. And then we'd ride for 1,000 or 2,000 miles, and then we'd ride 2,000 miles back. So then we put 5,000 or 6,000 miles on the trike or the softail to get 2,000 miles of good riding. Well, now we're saving a lot of money and wear and tear on the Harleys, because for the interstate, we're in the truck pulling the trailer, saving money and not putting wear and tear on the Harleys, and only riding the Harleys where it's really good riding. So, I'm going to do a whole report on it and do a little tour of the toy hauler and, and all that. But it's been working out really, really well. And I think I mentioned it before, Mary had to take her sticker off of her helmet. Silly yuppie, trailers are for boats.
Yeah.
But, so it's a little weird having, we've gone to rallies. We used to sit at rallies in our tent, or outside of our tent and look at all the trailers and just shake our heads. And now we're one of those people. But it is what it is, and it's working out really great.
Cool. If you like the video, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you'll be updated when the next one comes out. If you have any questions of your own you would like us to answer, whether it be about our own parts or something else regarding motorcycles, he's been riding bikes for about 90 years now, and I'm sure we can help you out. And
give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Share the video with your friends. You never know what might help them out. So give it a share, hit the like button,
and hit the subscribe button.
and the subscribe button. No, it's on.
You're covered
That's-
with a video right now. It's right here.
Okay.